Talk is presented by PrizePicks. Be sure to use code HMA. You'll get $50 in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup on PrizePicks. Today we are talking about position battles to watch for as Indy goes through their offseason, different dates, different times. There are actually a lot of real position battles for the Indianapolis Colts. Some teams, they're going to make them up out of thin air. It's going to be wide receiver 5, wide receiver 6, running back 4. No, for the Colts, they have real position battles to look at and watch for as the offseason goes along. And again, right now we're seeing voluntary workouts for Indy. So if you see some videos of guys on the field and trying to do things and light drills and no pads, it's voluntary workouts right now. OTAs coming up, which are also voluntary, but you like to have most of your players there. And then mandatory mini camp into that midway point in June. So there's all the dates for you guys. Look, I don't think the competition necessarily will heat up during this, but all is being watched, all is being paid attention to here on Colts Talk. If you're hyped for Indy football to be back, Colts football to be back, whether it is just voluntary workouts or games in general, you can actually show how hyped you are. That's right. If you're watching on your phone, on mobile, in the comment section, swipe right, smash that hype button. Yeah, you can literally hype the show how hyped you are. You can do that right now with the instructions we've got here. Be sure to do that and hype the show. First competition for the Indianapolis Colts is going to be at the edge rusher defensive end position for Indy. Who's going after the quarterback? Look, we had this discussion the other day from what Lou Anarumo said. Our guy Latu, he's pretty locked in. That seems to be a guy that's progressing well, developing well. They expect a big year from him, so that's one side. Who is the other man playing the part of his dance partner, the edges, whatever you want to say here. Now, a lot of edge additions for Indy this past season, and we've kind of, floated the idea that, hey, this is a Moneyball situation. Instead of going Trey Hendrickson, instead of going Joey Bosa, at this point in time, they could still go Joey Bosa. The Colts have gone Arden Key, Michael Clemens, drafted George Gums Jr. and Caden Curry, and Mitchell Melton, the former Ohio State Buckeye and Virginia Cavalier, will try to make the Colts roster as an undrafted free agent. So they have added a lot of names to try and compete / add depth to that other edge position. But I think the competition here is between these two guys. You got Arden Key, who is a veteran, highly accomplished, I think is a strong term for what he's done in the NFL, but, accomplished NFL veteran and a former second-round pick, right, in JT Tuimoloau, who's now starting to go by Jalen a little more and some more media stuff. Just a small note there. Look, JT, not good enough in his rookie season. The Colts have talked about it. He's talked about it. We've talked about it. Arden Key is at a solid point in his career. I don't know that there is another level that he is going to reach as an edge rusher. But I do believe it's between these two guys for that edge 2 spot. Depth chart-wise, we've kind of showed that. We think it's Arden Key. Seems like Arden Key. That's how he was signed. I think he's going to play a lot, whether he is the starter next to Latu or whether it's a, kind of a shifting thing, a rotation of guys. Which, look, that's starting to become more common in the NFL. I think we should note the rotation pieces using 5 edge rushers, 6 edge rushers. And then it's hey, if Latu goes down, you're not saying, oh, man, we only have this guy left. So I think the Colts are actually set up okay. They'll have an, inner battle there with Key and Tuimoloau. However, I should note here, I do think there is still that outside option, either to go for a free agent. Joey Bosa is a guy we've mentioned. Again, he's looking for about a 2-year deal at about $14-15 million. The Colts have the money to get that deal done, so we'll watch for that. Josh Sweat out of Arizona. We previewed him a couple times here on the show. You would have to trade for him. Recent news has him unhappy in Arizona, not showing up for the voluntary stuff. He's looking to get out. Got to really keep an eye on. We will do it here on the show on Josh Sweat possibly being traded there. And a lot of you have loved on the Jadeveon Clowney idea for the Indianapolis Colts. That one got me, right? You guys, you love Stephon Diggs. That stuff doesn't really surprise me. But the interest in Jadeveon Clowney did get me. It got me. But hey, so you're either going, look, Key to Tuimoloau, that's a battle there. Or if the Colts want to, they can kind of look outside at either a free agent or trade target to add at the edge rusher position. The NFL schedule is now out, and I know everybody's excited to watch the Colts in person, and that's why we want to give a shout out to the sponsor of today's show. That is SeatGeek. MLB is in full swing. The NBA and NHL playoffs are here. The NFL schedule, like I said, it's out. Plus, World Cup tickets available on SeatGeek. I love using SeatGeek. It's always the app I recommend to my friends when we talk about going to a game. When we're going to go, who are we going to go see? Bam, we're right on SeatGeek to make it happen. That's because SeatGeek has your back. Each ticket is rated on a scale of 1 to 10, so you know you're getting a good deal. Also, pretty simple if you want to go this way, green dots are good, red dots mean bad on SeatGeek, so it's all set up pretty nicely for you there. And of course, I have a code for you guys today. This is whether you're a new or existing user. You can use code CHAT10 for 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. That's 10% off any tickets with the promo code CHAT10. Make sure you click the link in the description to download the app and have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later. Thanks, SeatGeek. Okay, now the competition position battle that I think we all are kind of thinking about. And it's kind of wild because usually position battle, you're thinking starter, right? That's the big deal here. QB2 in Indy is highly talked about all around. It is Riley Leonard versus Anthony Richardson, who are both back in the fold, and the Richardson drama seems to be beside for now. So look, the first thing we're going to talk about here is with Riley Leonard. Fans seem to love the idea of Riley Leonard being the backup, Riley Leonard stepping in if something happens, Riley Leonard playing, which look, year 2 for Riley Leonard, yeah, probably should be in that position for Indy. I know the team themselves, they like him. The coaching staff likes him. I do want to know, I just feel like his rookie year was a little chaotic. He's in some games, then he's out. He had the knee injury right when they needed him most, or I feel like it was his knee. I'll have to double check on that. But I was feeling very good about where he was at, and then he got hurt. They have to bring in Rivers. Then he's back. The numbers don't look good necessarily on paper, but he had some great moments. Look, that's kind of how it goes with a rookie that's being pulled every which way in the operation there with the Colts. I acknowledge fans want him as the backup in general. He will have to battle former top 5 pick Anthony Richardson, who has been, we finally got to hear from him, and he was vocal about the fact that he believes he will have an opportunity to be the backup quarterback. He literally said, I'm going to go in and work, and then if they need me, I'll be ready to go. So that's how AR feels. I don't know if the coaching staff feels the same way. Chris Ballard, they talk more about he still has so much football left to play. He's so young. He's so talented. It's never like, no, if we need him, I feel like we'll use him. I feel like if there's something we can do, so on and so forth. Steichen specifically, when he's been asked about Richardson competing for the backup job, how they'll use Richardson, what his role will be, the general vibe for Anthony Richardson from Steichen, he's played coy. I'm not, coy's not when you just don't answer. It's just when you sidestep it, right? Like, oh, he's in the building. That's your answer to if he can be quarterback too. It's like, no, he's in the building right now. So Richardson versus Leonard is like a highly publicized battle and position battle in general that I know a lot of people are very, very interested in. That's why we want to hear from you guys here on Colts Talk. Who should be quarterback 2, the backup for the Colts? If something happens with Jones, who do you want to see? Type 1 for Riley Leonard. Type 2 for Anthony Richardson. This is our pinned comment. Go ahead and answer in the comment section down below. And again, I do want to hit on the fact with that competition specifically, you guys may be thinking like, look, I wanted some deep position battles. Why are we talking about quarterback? It's like, yeah, this could matter. Daniel Jones, A, may not start the season, and B, has had multiple major injuries in his career. There's a good chance another one happens. I hate saying that. I'm not wishing for it. I'm just saying we've seen a lot of Daniel Jones injuries in his career, major injuries. There's a chance we see another one. The thing with Richardson is overall, and I know you kind of want the answer, like, who do you think will be QB2 in this situation? My vibe here is Ballard and Steichen, they're both doing their jobs to keep their jobs at this point in time. I think it's a huge year, such a big year. I don't think they trust Anthony Richardson anymore. I just don't. I don't know if that's how they feel, especially the Phillip Rivers thing last year. And I know Richardson was out, but that just shows me the kind of quarterback they want in the game to make things happen for their team if they feel they can win games. So I'm leaning Leonard at this point. I think will be quarterback 2. Running back 2. This battle, I don't know how to describe it. I'm just not pumped about this one. It's happening, so we want to note it. We want to talk about it. I'm not excited about this in general. I don't think Indy has done enough to give a good second option to Jonathan Taylor. And look, in the NFL, running back 2 is not always like another Jonathan Taylor, but it is usually somebody that can play for you and be on the field and make a difference, has a certain skill set, right? Adds to Jonathan Taylor, adds to your offense. I look at, what the Browns have done in the past few years where it's a situation where it's like they had Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, and we're finding ways to use both and making the most of both. DJ Giddens, we just haven't seen enough. We don't know enough about the guy, and frankly, I don't know if I want to know more about DJ Giddens, who was a later round draft pick and certainly didn't get any crazy opportunities. The Colts also brought in Anderson Castle, who they've been talking about as a short yardage specialist, power running back. I like that idea. In general, you got to have those sort of guys. Is that your running back two, that if something happens to Jonathan Taylor, now it's Anderson Castle? And then the guy who we have at running back 3 as of right now, the rookie from Kentucky, Seth McGowan. I think this is Chris Ballard's, this is the guy I loved. This is the guy I think could be something for us. That's why I drafted him. I'm a wait and see on McGowan. So we'll certainly wait and see if he can fill those running back 2 shoes. Overall, I guess I'm just thankful for Jonathan Taylor. I just, blessings, stay healthy, do great, all that kind of stuff. I don't want to see what happens if we get to running back 2 for the Indianapolis Colts during the 2026 season. So thankful for Jonathan Taylor, hoping he stays healthy there. Today's show also presented by PrizePicks, and I wanted to take the opportunity here to run down a cool PrizePicks lineup we have put together. This is a season-long PrizePicks lineup. Yeah, that's right. So not all the lineups you put together have to be just for tonight or for tomorrow or for an upcoming game. No, you can do a season long if you feel like that's what you know more about. This is for some of the newest players headed to the league. Kenyon Sadiq, the former Oregon tight end who is now looking to make it in the Big Apple. We're feeling good about more on his 449.5 yards there. The team needs more targets. I feel like Sadiq is going to be one of those guys. Jordan Tyson, a lot of excitement there in the city of New Orleans for their new wide receiver weapon, especially with their quarterback, Tyler Shuck, doing so well last season. They're hoping they can step up and get Tyson the ball a little bit. We're going more on his touchdowns, 4.5 on the receiving touchdowns there. And then former Buckeye Caleb Downs, who's already finding a role at the nickel position for Dallas. Yeah, that's going to be interesting there. 1.5 interceptions. Got to feel like he's going to find more than 1.5, which is why we went more there. You see the lineups there, pretty simple. You just pick more or less on a few player stats and then lock in your lineup. And a reminder, with PrizePicks, you download the app today with the link in the comments and description. Then use code HMA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Play along with us on PrizePicks with code HMA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it is good to be right. A reminder, that is code HMA. All right, there is also a kicking competition, right? We have talked so many times about this. It is one of the more well-known competitions in general. The good news, though, for Colts fans is I can't guarantee it, but I feel like when it's over, no matter who it is, you feel good. You have 2 really good options. Just going to come down to whether Blake Grupe or Spencer Shrader perform. And we went over the other day what the kicking criteria is, and there's a whole science behind it. The special teams coordinator, Brian Mason, talked about weighted kicks. They're going to be charting, preseason, camps, scrimmages. I mean, these guys are going to have to be consistent, and they're really going to have to impress to win this job because, again, the guy they're facing is good, right? So that makes it a really great competition at the kicking position. And, just letting Colts fans know, I feel good no matter who you get in this situation. Both these guys, Grupe 5 weeks with the Colts last season, Shrader 5 weeks before he got injured. Not fully healthy yet, but on the right track there. So the kicking battle, we will continue to have updates for you guys here on Colts Talk. And then our final battle that we're talking about here on today's show, that is wide receiver 2. Whether it is Colts Talk, whether it is Bleacher Report, whether it is ESPN, everybody is saying Pierce, Downs, and who else has to be a wide receiver 2, meaning on the outside. We know wide receiver 1 and the slot is with Downs. The question is, who's going to run with those guys, right? That is being asked by just about everybody. The answer, well, is either going to be Nick Westbrook-Ikhine, who the Colts signed for the Miami Dolphins. And free agent options, once again, we're discussing here on the show, Deebo Samuel, Stephon Diggs. The Colts have been linked or rumored to both of those guys. They also have rookie Deion Burks, who they took later in the NFL draft. I know your internal options, Westbrook-Ikhine, Burks, we talked about them a little bit. Samuel and Diggs, experienced stars in the NFL who have still been putting up numbers lately. And again, the Colts have over $30 million in cap space. So if they want to make something happen for a year or two with stars like that, they are one of the top 10 teams that could actually make that happen. So as far as wide receiver 2 goes, you have internal options and external options, and we'll see what the Colts decide on that one. Going to be an interesting offseason. We got a lot of position battles to get to. Some are going to be solved in training camp. Some could be solved when you least expect it. We may just see a cut. We may see a trade. We may see a signing here on Colts Talk. Be sure to subscribe. We'll have all the latest for you. Go ahead and hit that sub button right now.